The simulacrum is never that which hides the truth, it is the truth which hides that there is none. The simulacrum is true. Jean Baudrillard. Jean Baudrillard was not an easy thinker. His ideas are dense, often disorienting, and deliberately resistant to simple interpretation. He didn't hand you a flashlight and show you the path, he questioned the idea of the path altogether. Yet buried in his labyrinth of media theory, simulation, and social critique lie deeply human truths, life lessons that speak to our everyday existence in a hyper-mediated, image-driven, consumerist world. If you feel something is off in today's culture, if you've ever sensed that modern life feels artificial, performative, or hollow, you're already in Baudrillard's universe. He didn't just predict the world we live in. He decoded it. This video distills his most unsettling insights into practical, philosophical lessons about how to survive, and perhaps even thrive, in the age of simulation. 1. Stop mistaking the simulation for reality. Baudrillard's most groundbreaking concept is the idea of simulation. In his view, our world is saturated with signs and images that no longer refer to any real object or event. Instead, they refer only to other signs. What we take to be real is often just a reflection of reflections. In other words, we live in a hall of mirrors, where the original has disappeared, and all that remains is the simulation. Social media is perhaps the clearest modern example. What we see online are not people, they are images curated to look like people, simulacra of personalities crafted for public consumption. Baudrillard warns us that this is more than just deception, it is a transformation of our reality itself. When we internalize these simulations, they begin to define our self-worth, our desires, and even our moral compass. Life lesson: train yourself to see through the illusion. Learn to recognize when you're reacting to a simulation instead of reality. Pause before making judgments, consuming content, or forming opinions. Ask, what lies beneath this image? What reality is being hidden? Begin to prefer substance over surface, silence over spectacle. 2. Media doesn't show you the world, it creates it. Baudrillard argued that in the postmodern world, media doesn't just represent events, it produces them. The Gulf War, he controversially claimed, did not take place, in any meaningful sense because it was so mediated and manipulated by television and propaganda that its reality became indistinguishable from its representation. The same applies to how we view celebrities, political crises, and even everyday events. The spectacle of media consumes the reality behind it. What matters is no longer what happened but how it was presented. Media, then, is not a window but a factory, manufacturing meaning, identity, and truth. Life lesson: become media literate. Don't accept narratives at face value. Always ask, who is telling this story, and why? What is being excluded? How is my attention being manipulated? Withdraw your blind trust in media outlets, whether corporate or alternative. Learn to seek primary sources, to ask deeper questions, and to reflect on your emotional responses. 3. Consumerism doesn't satisfy, it simulates satisfaction. Baudrillard viewed consumerism not as a system for meeting needs but as a language of signs. When you buy a sports car, you're not just buying transportation, you're buying speed, freedom, masculinity, or power. Consumption becomes a way of producing social meaning. The tragedy is that this never ends. Every product, every experience, is designed to simulate satisfaction, to promise fulfillment, prestige, happiness. But the promise is always deferred. Once you have it, the satisfaction fades, and you're pushed toward the next thing. Baudrillard compared this to a closed loop of desire, where meaning is endlessly postponed. Life lesson: reassess your desires. Before buying, ask, do I want this for its function or for its symbolism? Would I still value it if nobody saw me with it? Cultivate the skill of minimalism, not as a trend, but as resistance. Stop consuming for identity and begin creating for expression. Find joy in what endures. 4. Visibility is not the same as freedom. Baudrillard was prescient about the surveillance culture we live in today. From CCTV cameras to social media profiles to biometric databases, we are increasingly visible to systems of control. But instead of resisting this visibility, we've embraced it. We equate being seen with being real. He warned that this total visibility is a trap. Transparency sounds like openness, but it often means control. When everything is visible, nothing is free. Privacy, intimacy, and mystery become rarities in a world of constant exposure. Life lesson: reclaim your right to opacity. Not everything needs to be shared. Hold something sacred. Journal in private. Disconnect from platforms that monetize your attention. Let parts of your life remain unseen, not out of shame, but out of sovereignty. True freedom includes the right to be invisible. 5. Don't just rebel, question the system that profits from rebellion. One of Baudrillard's most disturbing ideas is that the system doesn't just tolerate opposition, it feeds on it. Capitalism is capable of absorbing critique and selling it back as fashion. Punk becomes a brand. Revolutionary slogans become t-shirts. Anti-establishment sentiments become viral marketing. This creates a situation where even your anger becomes part of the simulation. Resistance becomes performance. Protest becomes spectacle. And the system grows stronger for having allowed it. Life lesson: practice deep rebellion. Don't just shout louder. Exit the frame. Ask who benefits from your outrage. Resist the commodification of your identity. Sometimes the most radical act is refusal, to disengage, to unplug, to create outside the market's logic. Be disruptive not in volume but in vision. 6. You can't find authenticity in a manufactured culture. Baudrillard saw how modern society simulates authenticity. Vintage clothing, handmade aesthetics, organic labeling, local sourcing, all of it can be commodified. Authenticity becomes another marketing strategy, another lifestyle to buy into. We yearn for the real, but we look for it in scripted experiences. Travel becomes tourism. Spirituality becomes self-branding. Even self-discovery is turned into content. Life lesson: look inward, not outward, for the authentic. Cultivate your inner life, your intuition, your ethics. Authenticity is not performance. It's a relationship with self, forged in solitude and integrity. Practice honesty. Keep parts of your life offline. Let your values guide your choices, not aesthetics. 7. Nostalgia is a beautiful lie. Baudrillard saw nostalgia as one of the most dangerous forms of simulation. It offers a romanticized past that never really existed. Media nostalgia edits out complexity. It gives us the 1950s without racism, the 1980s without inequality, childhood without fear. This simulation of the past becomes a tool of escapism. Instead of facing the problems of the present, we fantasize about an imaginary past. This isn't remembrance, it's denial. Life lesson: use the past wisely. Let it inform your values, not dictate your fantasies. Be wary of anyone selling you the good old days. Focus on building a present that future generations won't have to escape from. Nostalgia can be sweet, but it should never be a blueprint. 8. Meaning is not given, it must be created. In Baudrillard's world, meaning is no longer anchored. Traditional values, religious structures, social institutions, all have lost their authority. We live in a desert of the real, where signs float freely, disconnected from truth. This loss can feel nihilistic. But Baudrillard invites us to see it as a new freedom. If meaning is no longer handed down, we are free to create it. Life lesson: become the author of your own significance. Write your own philosophy. Build rituals. Define your version of success. Stop seeking approval from systems that do not know your soul. The emptiness of modernity is also its canvas. Paint something worthy. 9. Seduce, don't persuade. Baudrillard preferred seduction over persuasion. To him, seduction meant drawing others into mystery, offering allure without domination. Persuasion, by contrast, is about force, logic, conquest. In relationships, art, or communication, seduction allows room for ambiguity. It respects the other's autonomy. It entices rather than compels. Life lesson: be magnetic, not manipulative. In a world obsessed with selling, stand out by inviting. Let your authenticity draw others without coercion. In conversation, leave room for silence. In creativity, suggest rather than declare. Seduction is not deception, it's the art of wonder. 10. The system is absurd, so laugh. Baudrillard saw the postmodern world as absurd. A place where we create realities only to forget they're fake. A world of endless irony, spectacle, and contradiction. But instead of despairing, he chose to mock it, to play with its absurdity. Humor, for Baudrillard, wasn't escape, it was strategy. When you laugh at the system, you shrink its power. When you see its ridiculousness, you are less likely to fear it. Life lesson: cultivate a sense of the absurd. Laugh at the spectacle. Laugh at your own roles in it. Use satire to expose the truth. Don't let the madness crush your spirit, let it amuse you into clarity. Playfulness can be subversive. Humor can be holy. Conclusion: choose your illusions wisely. Jean Baudrillard doesn't offer comforting advice. He doesn't promise happiness or hope. What he gives you is more powerful: lucidity. The ability to see through the illusions of the age. The courage to recognize the simulations around you, and within you. In a world of spectacle, choose stillness. In a world of symbols, choose meaning. In a world of performance, choose authenticity. In a world of noise, choose silence. You cannot escape the simulation completely, but you can wake up inside it. And when you do, you become something rare, a real presence in a virtual world.